Okay, good morning. I'm here talking a little bit of an extension on yesterday's video that I filmed that I'm going to put up as a short. And it was about progress, non-linear healing, and, you know, the act of kind of like keeping going, I suppose, when you get pulled back from progress, or it feels like you've been pulled back from progress rather, but really you're circling back around to kind of like clean up the leftover bits or the bits that didn't get covered originally. You know, it's that circling back over things. And I guess my extension on that today, or to like keep going with that, is about doing what you can with what you've got, which is part of like how I'm bringing you these videos from the car before I go into a class, because this is really like the only time that I'm gonna have some privacy, because I'm in a basically empty car park. So the point of this is, you know, let me fix that fringe. Doing what we've got, doing what we can with what we've got. And that's an experience of limitation, and it's an experience around, you know, how to take the steps out of a situation that you don't feel like you want to be in, or you don't feel in alignment with. So, I mean, broadly speaking, I don't know, like, I'm only like including the collective reference, because I don't want to exclude the collective reference in terms of saying like everybody goes through this, or everybody has, you know, things that they need to heal from. And you can either dive into it or turn away from it. You can either ignore it, pretend it doesn't exist, and suppress it, and be trapped by it and just accept. And I mean, there's a piece about acceptance and surrender, of course, but like to deny things, to deny circumstances is definitely not going to see any progress. So if we have like, even if you have a concept of like living many lives, it depends what your understanding of consciousness is, or how you think about the soul beyond the earth plane of existence in this time and space. So I'm somebody that like it resonates with, and I have a belief, I suppose, that there is, you know, that this soul that I hold, that I carry, that I call me, that is mine, is going to continue on in its form and have memories of different lives, or like have different capabilities that are in other realms where we're not, you know, held into this 3D space. But I suppose like 5D, 7D, 11D, I don't know how many Ds there are, to be honest, I forget. But yeah, okay, so even though I have very expansive thoughts about what the soul is, like I accept that there is an experience, a human experience on this material realm, on this plane of existence that we're on, and we've got to work with what we've got here. And we might be working with what we've got and have some influence from past lives or previous lives, or, you know, the spiral of timeline of non-linear time. So we're always working with like all of this unseen and unknown influence, and lots of people will, like, that's why people try to understand or have more awareness or more sight over those things. And we use a lot of modalities. We're using things like astrology and human design and tarot and meditation and, you know, Akashic records work, all sorts of like intuitive insights to attempt to bring through the stories and bring through the threads from those other spaces. But then we are back here in this earth realm, and, you know, there's a lot of talk about manifestation and creating your reality, and, you know, using some of that awareness of the potentiality of the soul and learning how to break through some of the layers and some of the barriers that hold us back and hold us down in limitation. Okay, so that's kind of like the big picture of it. But then like here back in the world right now, I have to deal with the day-to-day, and I'm waking up, I gotta go somewhere. If I want something, I might have to make some compromises as to how to get what I feel like I want. And like, what do I want? Well, we all have slightly different priorities, but there's, you know, we have things like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We want food and housing and shelter, and we want to be physically protected. And then hopefully I actually forget what it goes up. I know that that's the basic one, but that's like the basic thing for everybody. And we want to have emotional support and emotional needs, and we want to also, you know, potentially grow within ourselves or become better, or, you know, it's finding that highest, not just like, yeah, vibration, but that's just the highest iteration of our highest selves, our highest expression of consciousness. But we can't always sit in the highest expression. We like have to flow between the lowest expression and, you know, the whole range and the whole gamut of all of our different aspects are modulating. I want to say modulating. They're going up and down, and we're kind of like moving through the wave, right? So we do what we can with what we've got, and sometimes, yeah, it is the acceptance and the surrender of a limitation, but it's taking one step in front of the other. And that's, you know, I'm about to start going all over the place, but there's that song from Paula Abdul that was in my mind, like, one step forward, two steps back, opposites attract. So such a spiritual song. Do you guys know that one? It had like the video clip was like the cartoon. I think he was a cat. I loved that. That was so my era. But what am I trying to say? It's the non-linear. We're moving around. The progress is a spiral. We go over where we've been before until we've learnt the lesson. But it's just turning up every day and holding your head high and putting your shoulders back and taking a deep breath into the belly and just doing what you can with what you've got. And sometimes that means, yeah, just, I don't know, I don't want to, it's just going gently, right? We're just going gently, and sometimes that means like we can't stampede ahead, or yeah, things don't always happen instantaneously, and there has to be like a trust, I guess, in that process, that everything is happening in divine timing, and to give us exactly what we need, to provide us with the toolkit to reach our highest self. If we decide to take responsibility for it, and responsibility for our lives, responsibility for ourselves, and to not be filled with fear for that responsibility. In human design, that's typically gate 50, the fear of responsibility, which is in the spleen. So I know a few things about that because I have gate 50 4 times in my chart in an open spleen. So that's a big thing for me to understand. Anyway, without getting into that, I guess this is just a supportive message. If you've listened to this today, then I just want to encourage you to, I'm going to say, hang in there, buddy. Just do what you can with what you've got. Just every day, you're just doing what you can with what you've got. If all you can do is write a list of what you'd like to achieve, write a list of your desires, meditate on that list, like hold that list, like, or one action that you can do today, or, you know, one action that you will take when you can take it. So you're probably going to get more videos exactly like this, with me just having a little sort of 10-minute-ish rant from my car, because this is what I can do with what I've got right now. And I do believe it's of value, because this is the point. It's like beyond the flashing lights and the, you know, and the fanfare and the music and all the fancy gadgets and gizmos that Gadgets and Gazmos. What the fuck is a Gazmo? Gadgets and gadgets. Gadgets and gizmos. Of, you know, a fancy, flashy presentation on YouTube. I tend to really like people that are just being themselves, and, you know, we may not all be as popular as one another, and we may be terribly unpopular, but I have a desire to open up this flow state. So everything that I'm doing, it's all kind of like circling around to flow state, because flow state to me is that connection to source, and that is that thing that is helping us like move on a trajectory of like knowing ourselves better and expanding our consciousness, and like having that greater understanding. The things that we produce here on the material realm, it's that communication and the universe learning from itself. So like that's my fundamental, and I really want to talk about that, and I want to share the things that I've you know, read about and experienced, and the journeys that I'm on, and I want to support people in their own journey of the same. So despite any limitations or, you know, feelings of hopelessness or overwhelm at times, just want to encourage you that there is always another day, there is always another moment. We do what we can with what we've got, and hopefully we speak to each other and we stick to each other, and we just do what we can in that sense of connecting as well. So have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you again soon.